What David Schwartz just said will shock you. The CTO of Ripple just gave us a real-life date for when he thinks most institutions will start using the XRP system. This is the first time this has ever been done. I'll tell you right now that it's not years away like a lot of people think. The time frame he just gave is actually much earlier than anyone thought. To be honest, I had to play it again to make sure I didn't hear him wrong the first time. Yes, he is right. In just a few months, every XRP owner will get the chance they have been waiting for. And when that time comes, there will be huge ripple effects on the whole banking system. This is not advice about money. Now, let me quickly tell you something before I play you what David Schwartz said. If you really want to get ready to not only ride the wave, but also possibly make a lot of money in this new era of digital assets, I put together something that I know you'll want to get right away. The Ultimate Millionaire Investor Guide, Find 100X Stocks, is the name of it. There are documents, pictures, videos, and more in the full package that show you step by step how to find the next big chances before anyone else. This is the kind of knowledge that can make a big difference in your finances. You can get it right now in the comment that is pinned below this video. Check it out. As soon as you see what's inside, you'll understand why it's so tempting. If you use my Robinhood link and make a $1 payment, you can get free NVDA stock worth up to $200. Don't miss out on that chance. It's really just free money. And right now, NVIDIA is one of the world's hottest stocks. You can also find that link in the comment that was pinned. We should start with this. David Schwartz just sent us one of the clearest signs yet that big things are about to happen with Ripple and XRP. Let's set the scene before we get into what he said. The crypto world is getting ready for a huge change right now. Low interest rates are on the way down. Trump has made it very clear that he wants to see cuts. The Federal Reserve just changed its rules to speed up those cuts even more. That may sound like dull macroeconomics, but here's why it's important. A lot of the biggest names in crypto, especially stablecoin producers like Circle, have been getting most of their money from long-term government bonds. Take a moment to think about that. To keep their USDC business going, Circle needs interest rates to stay high. This is because they take donations from customers, put them in treasuries, and then collect the yield. When those rates drop, though, so does their income by as much as 80% to 90%. That's terrible for a business that doesn't have a variety of ways to make money. And let's be honest, Circle is just a service that gives out stable coins. Now look at Ripple. There is more than one thing that Ripple needs to keep running. Ripple has its own business that builds infrastructure for institutions, custody, liquidity, ODL, and soon a fully integrated stablecoin offering that works with their other goods instead of relying on it solely. It's like night and day. Circle might not be able to stay in business when rates go down, but Ripple is ready to grow and get a bigger share of the commercial market than ever before. Plus, you know what makes this even stranger? Circle's IPO happened right before all of this began. There must be some kind of mistake, right? Or do you think they wanted to get rich before their main source of income stopped? It doesn't look good for them either way. At the same time, Ripple is in the best situation it has ever been, just on the edge of being widely adopted by institutions. But before I talk about the big news that David Schwartz just shared, I want to point out something that shows why XRP keeps standing out while other projects fail. A lot of false information, FUD, is spread about XRP holders. One of the most popular lies is that no one cares about or wants XRP. It's been said a million times. Some people say that when XRP is at the top of polls or conversations, the interest is either fake or overblown. Well, Paul Barron recently took that myth apart totally. He has been keeping an eye on how people feel about crypto and how they interact with it on social media for almost 10 years. And what he discovered was shocking. When it comes to real community engagement, XRP always has some of the best numbers in the whole business. There are real talks, real investors, and real momentum in this crypto, but a lot of other so-called blue chip cryptocurrencies just have a lot of noise that doesn't mean anyone is interested. That is very strong. Think about it. The XRP community isn't made up. It's not made up talk. It's made up of real people who think it will be useful. Because of this, XRP always beats the other coins in polls. It has one of the best and most active communities of investors in the whole space. I think that's the main reason why some of the smartest and richest buyers are interested in XRP. They don't follow trends or bet on hype. They want technology that can help people in the real world. And XRP has done just that since the beginning. It's time to go back to what David Schwartz said, because this is where things get really interesting. Ripple has always worked from the top down. It doesn't matter to them if they have to make big ads just to raise the price for a few hours. They work with big banks, financial institutions, and payment providers to build infrastructure that is strong enough for institutions. That's where adoption really takes place. That can be annoying for small buyers because we don't always get to see the news right away. But that's also the reason Ripple is so far ahead of everyone else. And just recently, David Schwartz finally told us what he thinks about how close we are to mass acceptance. I believe what he said will amaze you. He said that the real problem right now isn't whether or not blockchain technology works. Yes, it does. The hard part is making it so simple that regular people can use it and not even know it's a blockchain. They do not need to understand what a small key is. They won't have to know how agreement works. They won't have to think about it. There will be no visible blockchain layer. The blockchain will power the banking services they use every day. This part really shocked me. David said it would only be a few months before they crossed that line. Not years, not decades, not even months. That's from the person who has been working on the XRP system for more than 10 years. He must be telling us that we'll be there in a few months because many of the things we've been waiting for are now in place. The public just doesn't know about them yet. Take that in. The CTO of Ripple just told us that mass acceptance will not happen for months. This is after all the waiting, the fear-mongering, the court cases, and all the other things that took our attention away. This is the exact moment you've been waiting for if you've been keeping XRP. And it makes sense when you think about how Ripple plans to use it. They don't have to make everyone in the world like them. They don't need every small investor to set up and manage their own wallets and secret keys. They only need 6 to 10 of the biggest banks in the world to use their method, and they can reach billions of people around the world right away. And that's why their top-down method is so smart. Ripple has been working behind the scenes with these institutions for more than 10 years, building trust and making goods. David Schwartz says they're almost ready to roll it all out on a large scale. That's all I have to say for now. In the next part, we'll talk about what mass adoption looks like, who the players are, and how quickly this domino effect can happen after the first institutions go live. Let us build on what David Schwartz said, since the fact that he said it was just a couple of months away means that the machinery is already done. That's not all we mean by institutional adoption. A few companies testing on a testnet is not the same thing. There will soon be real transactions going on across the XRP ledger between banks, payment providers, and other financial companies that already move trillions of dollars every day. Just think about how the banking system works now. Most people don't care or know how money goes from one bank to another. Their minds aren't on swift messages or platforms that connect banks. They just think the move will work. The trouble is that the infrastructure we have now is old, slow, and expensive. But when Ripple is added, the person giving the money doesn't need to know that XRP is being used. They know for sure. Their move is settled in seconds and doesn't cost nearly as much. That's what David meant to say. When users don't even notice the blockchain and just enjoy something better, that's when it's truly adopted. Now, what are the important institutions? It's not about 100 small financial companies. There are a few big players in this. Ripple has already said it will work with entities such as Santander, SBI, and many banks in Asia and the Middle East. They've also talked with central banks about releasing digital currencies based on the XRP ledger, which we know about. When even one of these big companies starts using XRP in all of their daily work, it has an effect on the whole financial environment. This is what makes Ripple different from almost all other crypto projects. It works from the top down. A lot of tokens depend on retail hype, betting that millions of people will use their wallets, apps, and dApps. Ripple, on the other hand, focuses on institutions. As soon as banks start using XRP, millions or even billions of people will be using it indirectly without even realizing it. That's how adoption goes through the roof almost overnight. And the timing is right because it fits with what's going on around the world. There is a lot of pressure on cross-border spending. People and businesses want solutions that are faster, cheaper, and more reliable. Finally, regulators are catching up and making rules that make banks feel safe using digital assets. Add these two trends to Ripple's 10 years of planning. It's easy to see why David Schwartz says we only have a few months left, not years. Allow us to now talk about the tech itself. It has been over 10 years since the XRP system was put through its paces. It settles with finality, takes huge amounts of traffic, and processes transactions in seconds. It doesn't need a lot of energy or fees that go up and down without warning like proof of work chains do. It also doesn't put all of its power in the hands of a few big validators like proof-of-stake chains do. It was designed from the start to be a payment layer for financial transactions. Now you can see why organizations trust it. They're not looking for joke coins or fads that are just for fun. They need something that works on a large scale. Getting people to trust and depend on them has already been the hardest part. Let's see how this fits into the bigger picture of crypto. A lot of projects are still trying to get stores to use their products, hoping that the next boom will make people excited. But talk by itself doesn't keep value over time. The government doesn't care about jokes. Their main concerns are dependability, efficiency, and following the rules, which is why XRP is set up differently. This isn't just another risky product. The new banking system is built on this, and you can already see the shift taking place if you look closely. Pilot programs for digital currencies are being set up by central banks. Big names in payments are looking into blockchain lines. The IMF, the BIS, and other international groups are publicly talking about how to make settlement layers faster. Ripple has been there for a long time. Things they've been building are finally being seen by everyone. This is why what David Schwartz said is so important. It proves what people who own XRP have been waiting for all along. That real adoption is not just a dream. It's going to happen soon, and the momentum will be impossible to stop once the first wave of organizations goes live. Other people will have to follow because the gains in efficiency are too big to pass up. Think about what will happen when that first domino falls when he says months from now. Think about what the news would be like if a big global bank said it would be using XRP for payment. Think of how competitors are rushing to keep up with each other. That's the situation we're about to enter. This is the reason why people have more faith in the XRP system than ever before. Don't forget that this isn't just about banks. Ripple's vision includes sending money to other people, business treasury flows, CBDCs, and all kinds of tokenized assets. The XRP system can be used for many things. Because it works with everyone, it could power the future of money, and no other project comes close to having a 13-year head start. The main point is easy to understand. Adoption is not going to happen someday in the far future. David Schwartz says it will happen in a few months. The arrangements have been made and the pipes have been built. The last coat of polish is about to be put on. Once that happens, XRP will no longer be an investment idea. It will be the foundation of the new global banking system. That's where we'll start again, by breaking down how this top-down adoption works, what the early adopters get, and why it can't be stopped once it starts. Now let's talk about how this acceptance spreads after the first one falls. This is where things really start to grow quickly. It's not like consumer apps where growth is slow and happens one person at a time. When it comes to banking, new rules are quickly adopted by all other banks once a big one does. What if one of the world's 10 largest banks started using XRP for settlement? That puts pressure on the competition right away. It's not fair for other banks to let their rivals settle money more quickly, cheaply, and reliably while they stay stuck in the past. So what does happen? One integration turns into 5 and then 20. Pretty soon, a new world standard is being set right in front of our eyes. And that's exactly what Ripple was made to do. XRP wasn't made to be a single-use tool for a certain group of people. The goal when they built it was to make the world's banking system work. They made sure banks could use it by focusing on enterprise-level solutions and technology that puts regulations first. That's not something that many crypto projects can say. Take a look at it this way. Most small investors want to know when the price of XRP will change. Institutions, on the other hand, want to know if it will help them serve their customers better, save them money, and lower their risk. Ripple has shown over and over that it can do all three. Then, as soon as one big bank goes live, it's likely that the others will too, not because they want to, but because they have to. This is why the moment is so important right now. Interest rates, rules, and technology are all coming together at the same time right now. As rates go down, it makes it harder for rivals like Circle to stay in business. Finally, regulations are making things clear, which gives banks the confidence to move. And the technology is now advanced enough that it can make the user experience smooth. When these three things come together, they make the ideal conditions for adoption. It's not a lie when David Schwartz says months away. What he's saying is that Ripple's years of work are about to pay off. Another thing is that adoption doesn't happen in a slow, straight line once it starts. It starts one thing that leads to another. Adding one thing leads to adding another. When one bank connects, their partners connect, and then there's a domino effect that affects whole parts of the global banking system. Think about what that means for XRP. The need for liquidity goes up as more businesses use it. The network has to be able to handle more value when there is more demand for cash. And because there are only 100 billion XRP tokens, and a big chunk of them are locked away, the demand drives prices up, which builds over time. Adoption-driven growth is stable, unlike speculative pumps that go up and down quickly. This is because it's linked to real-world usage, real funds, and real settlement needs. So some people wonder, will shopping ever matter in this case? Yes, but not in the way that most people think. Adoption won't come from stores. That's not the job. It will be institutions. They are in charge of the daily amounts of trillions of dollars. But this is where shopping comes in handy. Once a lot of people use it, XRP will be liquid and anyone can get it. In other words, regular investors can own the same asset that drives the back end of banking, money transfers, and maybe even CBDCs. Retailers can finally see what a digital asset looks like when it is actually used, while banks are using it in the background. And this is what makes the difference. Meme coins live and die with the times of craze. They blow up, fall apart, and burn most people who are inside. XRP is not affected by hype. People with a lot of power in the banking system like XRP because it helps them solve real problems. Cross-border settlement, managing liquidity, and technology that is ready for compliance. And we're now more likely than ever to see that happen in real time. Here's what you need to keep an eye on as we look ahead. The spark was the first news of real-life institutional mergers. This is the next level, the early steps of CBDCs connecting with private blockchains. On top of that, Ripple has a stablecoin that isn't meant to compete with XRP, but to work with it. Each of these changes speeds up acceptance even more, and when put together, they make a flywheel that can't be stopped once it starts turning. This is what makes XRP unique. It's not a waste of time to follow store trends. It doesn't need small buyers to learn how to use wallets or dApps. The only thing that XRP wants to do is become the invisible backbone of global banking. That's why David Schwartz's words are so strong. He is not making empty promises. It looks like he's ready to flip the switch now that the system is complete and all the parts are in place. Let me say this now before we end this. It's clear that you take buying seriously if you've made it this far. You're not here for jokes. You're here to find ways to change your life. That's why I want to tell you not to miss the comment that has been pinned below this video. Inside is Find 100x Stocks, my best guide to becoming a millionaire investor. It comes with papers, pictures, videos, and other things that are meant to help you spot huge opportunities before they become popular. Check it out if you want to be where you need to be at the right time. There's also my Robinhood link right next to that. You can get a free NVIDIA stock worth up to $200 when you deposit just $1. Right now, NVIDIA is one of the world's most valuable companies. Its chips power AI, the cloud, and next-generation computers. Getting a piece of it is important that you don't miss. Keep an eye on Ripple because David Schwartz just told us that it won't be years before it spreads. We have months to go, and that door will not be closed again once it's open. XRP is ready for its time, and people who pay attention now will be ready when the tide finally changes.